Okay, hey, what's up? So, a while ago, I want to say half a year ago, I don't even know how long it's been, I made a video basically showing how I make arrangements in MSM Composer, but I have no idea what happened in that video. So, yeah, I'm just gonna redo it now, and hopefully it's better than it was half a year ago. So, with that being said, a lot of you have previously asked me to show tutorials on how I make specific songs, and to that I say look it up on YouTube. Just like you can look up the notes, like you can just look them up. I wouldn't want to show exactly how I do it, because then you could just copy it and say, hey, I made this arrangement, look at me, look what I did. If I were to just copy and paste everything from the original into Composer, that would be one thing, and that would be super boring, and I would hate it. But that's not what I do, you know. I make it my own, I change it up a bit, just like everyone else, I'm sure, does. So, I'm just going to run y'all through the process of how I generally do it. So this is the example I used last time, which I won't use this time, but I'll give you a snippet of it, because this is a song I'll probably never finish. It's Surface Pressure. Anyway, we're not talking about that today. We're talking about this an original song I'm working on here. As of right now, the song is called Generic Love Song. I would really like a new name for it, because that just does not sound like anything anyone would want to listen to. Basically, what I'm trying to go with on this part of it, this is just a little section of it, is it's condescending, but it sounds beautiful. The lyrics I wrote for it are super condescending, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how I wrote it outside of Composer and then moved it on over. So, I composed this song in an app called Medley. If you don't know what Medley is, it is a app on iOS devices, and it is freaking amazing. It is the sole reason I get Apple products. It's just so good. They added this new feature has a chord creator. The automation for it is so everything about it is just great. That's what I use. Anyway, this is the section that I am copying over to Composer, and I'll just play it for y'all real quick. Okay, so now that you've heard that, let's switch back on over to Composer, and we can see how I started it. So first off, I wanted to make sure that the melody could actually work, so I brought in sax, of course, as the saxophone. And the thing about this part of the song is, if you look over here, this is these are triplets, and if you don't know what triplets are, they are the most satisfying rhythms in music. Instead of going da 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 da, they go da 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 da, and it's always so satisfying. I probably didn't do the best at explaining it, but you know, if you really want to know, I'm sure you can find it with a quick Google search. But Essentially what it is it splits a beat into thirds, whether that be eighth note or a quarter note or whatever. And the problem with that is MSM Composer is very limited on what it allows you to use rhythmically and melodically, but specifically in this instance, rhythmically. You have to kind of find loopholes. So this song is originally written in 4/4 time, like the majority of songs. Most songs are written in 4/4 time. So what I decided to do was move on over to 6/8 time. If you don't know what 6/8 time is, basically in 4/4 time, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, like you count things. That's how you count. But in 6/8, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And essentially, what that does is it turns everything into triplets. So, if I switch this on over to 4/4 time, hate my life. Okay. So, I put this in 6/8 time, so it could be split up into triplets with each measure. And I had to adjust the tempo because the tempo is originally 66, but the tempo in Composer is 94 because it's so wonky using this app, but it's so worth it because everything, it sounds good in the end, but it's a bit annoying and a bit tedious. Once I had the melody that you just heard earlier, I quickly switched on over to grab me some chords, and interestingly enough, I did this with pom-pom, not with what I would normally do for a synth, which is gassed. I did pom-pom because if you hear, she has a slight forte piano. It is so subtle, but if we go back to the original here, you listen to the chords. They go boing. So I wanted to get that boing sound effect as much as I could, which is why I picked pom-pom. It's very subtle, but that's why I chose this. But normally I would go with something like gassed, bogart, reeling, maybe even someone who's made for chords. But in this case, I chose pom-pom right off the bat. So now that we have pom-pom, I forgot to mention a minute ago, with MSM Composer, usually to fit all the rhythms in, you have to double the tempo. If you don't double the tempo, you're not going to be able to play most rhythms. And I don't even think you can play eighth notes normally. Yeah, you can only play quarter notes, which is, holy cow, that is nothing. Very rare you'll find a song with no eighth notes. But if you do, props to you. What I do is I double the top number on the time signature. So it is 6/8 right now. I'm going to make it 12/8. So that way, each measure is actually a measure now. So, next I went over and obviously added sax because it is a saxophone playing. And sax is easily one of the best, if not the best monster in this entire app. So, let's hear them together. Isn't that great? But it feels a little empty, so I decided to go on over to Smoochel because it is a love song after all, and go ahead and add something in there. But here's the thing, Smoochel sounds like garbage and it's super annoying, so instead I replaced Smoochel with a bogart, a rare bogart. It's very subtle. That's an issue. Okay, that's supposed to be a natural. Okay. But, essentially what I did here was I matched the chords, so it goes A, D, F. The chord is A, D, F, so what I did was I just broke it up like that, and it goes dun, 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 without socks for a second. So yeah, That's sounding nice already, but the song had to keep going, and these three monsters could not carry this whole section because they're kind of weak alone. So, this is where I bring it... Whoops. This is where I brought in Riedling to duet with Socks. This is one of those things that you make it and then once you're done, you're like, how did I do it? I don't even... Basically what I did was I got this melody, I lowered it an octave for Riedling, and then I harmonized. How did I harmonize? I don't know. I think what I did was this goes down, Riedling goes down, Riedling goes down and up, and Socks mostly just goes down. I don't really know, but there's something there. It made sense in the moment, but we still need chords, so let's go ahead and grab... Yeah, no, who is it? Who does chords? Oh, it's Quibble. Oh, yes, of course it's Quibble. So the Rare Quibble does chords here, and let me tell you, Rare Quibble on chords? You want to save this thing, because if you use this right off the bat, you're just wasting so much energy you could be saving, because it's such a powerful chord maker. Just gonna play this real quick. Hear that? And then it lingers a bit. It just sounds great. So you can see it's already coming together, but there's something we're still missing. It is percussion. And look, Rebro is easily the best percussionist in this. Pango is up there, but Rebro is just, ooh, Rebro's so good. So you can already see it came together a lot just from adding those three monsters along with Socks. Now, I can't even begin to explain to you how I write percussive stuff because I'm not a percussionist. I don't know what their terms are or like what any of that is. It's just, I don't know, it just comes naturals, and I feel like percussion is a pretty easy thing to just be like, oh, that would sound nice there. So for that, the best thing to do is just play around until you find something you like. Yo, I can't believe I did this, but I forgot about Pango here. Pango's here too. Just kind of complimenting the Rebro. Not really carrying it or anything, but he's doing a good job. We love Pango. Pango's great. And then we move on to here, and it sounds like it got, okay, the game just froze. So that's great, isn't it? Isn't that just like the best thing ever? Okay. It's very empty. We need something powerful. And we would also, some chords would also be nice. So we're going to go ahead and add Gast in there. Yeah, so that's great. I love that. But oh my God. But do you know what would be even better? Cello. We need Bogart, because Bogart just has so much emotion in it. It is so nice sounding. In fact, I'm just going to move over to fur chord real quick so I can just move the melody out the way just so you could listen to the chord progression along with the percussion at this point. So if you did not notice, the thumpies over here does something similar to what Rare Bogart did earlier, which is matching with the chords. Like it follows the chords. It kind of rides them. So you can see there's the chord is that. That's the chord. So thump B's go like that. The reason it does not match with this note right here is because it is transitioning into this chord and it lands on that note. So it just made more sense. But you can do stuff like that. And it always sounds good. Another thing that would be nice to add is pummel. Pummel is always such a great addition to songs because it I don't know, it just, you know, it hits. Boom, 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 boom. And it's great. Also, rare pango, I kind of just counted that with pango. It makes one sound, but it's such a nice one. And it's so good for many purposes. So, you can see that this is coming together very well. It's not quite there yet. So, we are going to be adding Funk Pray into the song. In fact, let me move on over to Funk Pray just so you can visualize what it's doing. Really adds emotion. So that's great. Everything's going great. But we still need more because there is, I believe, one more section. Yeah, there's one more section after that. And this one is going to be the final section of this section of the song. So it needs to be full and it needs to be impactful. So how do I do that? Well, I'm gonna show you. You just bring everyone in. You just bring them in and you just do things, you know? You just do things. I do want to add fir corn to the beginning, so I'm probably going to do that later, but yeah, that later is not right now. So, we're going to add chorister here, and he's going to do... They're going to do the pickup chords. Now, I don't know if that's a proper term, but whatever. If you don't know what a pickup note is, essentially what it is it's a note that picks up into the next measure. Let's go back over here to pummel, wherever that came in. So pummel comes in right here. As you can see, this zooming thing is kind of weird. It goes boom, boom. And it starts on the measure before, but it doesn't actually start fully playing until this measure right here. So it picks up into this measure. And that's a really fun thing to play around with too. So if we go over here, we can hear chorister using the chords kind of as a pickup. It's not quite a pickup because it just... It's not, but I kind of used it as one. Chorister is super overpowering and it should really only be used for like the climax of a song. So what I did was I got the chord and I just took the top note off of it, and that made it a bit quieter, so it's not too overpowering until the next measure when it comes in with the chords. Now you might be thinking, hey, what are you doing? That is too loud. I can't even hear the melody. Well, this is where you have fun, okay? You just bring in everyone. Everyone comes in for the melodies. So the thing you have to keep in mind is some monsters are stupid, like Maw and Nebulob, where they go Didi or Shaba or Punkleton. Ooga. It's not gonna work, because if you put it here, it's gonna go ooga, 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 ooga. It just doesn't sound right. So you have to choose who you're gonna use. And Fog is always good. Beautiful. We love Fog. Fog is great. Fog is amazing. Fir corn too. They duet so well together. Tweedle. Don't like to use her too much because she is also very overpowering. But this is one of those times where you need someone overpowering. The problem with a lot of monsters is they don't have held out notes, and that's not good, is it? So Tweedle comes in a lot of. Tweedle is very helpful because she has those held out notes. And one thing that's great about that is you can get emphasis on the shorter notes, and then just kind of have the longer notes there. So we're gonna add everyone back in that we already did before. Yep, I think that's everyone. The melody's a bit easier to hear, but it's not powerful enough. We need more power. So, one thing we need is a rare clamble. It's a cymbal crash, but like one of those that hold out. And there's also dragong, which is super useful for things like this as well, because as you can hear, you can't hear. Rare clamble. There's nothing to be heard. So you can get them together, kind of do a big crash. Now you can hear it better. Because, ironically, when you want to use a cymbal crash, it gets too loud to hear the cymbal crash. And cymbal crashes are great for conveying emotion and really making a powerful section. See? It's great. And dragong also has these lower notes. You can't really hear them. So do with that what you will, but I might just like put them right here, you know. You can use them for more subtle things. We've got that now. We've got the powerfulness. But one thing we need is more. We just need more. More of everything. So we bring in everyone. We bring in Sponge. We bring in Grumpire. We bring in Switch. Just kidding. We bring in Wisp. We bring in Jelly. We bring in Dipsters even. We're bringing everyone in that has either held out notes or short notes that don't go dee dee. Everyone comes in. And it's super powerful. And you can harmonize with them, do whatever you want, lower an octave for some of them, keep them all the same. You can make everyone different, which is what I usually do. Even making them slightly different, always, it just, those little details make a big difference. I forgot to mention Toe Drummer over here. I kind of added him a bit earlier in the song, in this section, just to put more emphasis on the melody and to just because it's Toe Jammer and he sounds freaking amazing, so yeah. I just remembered. I did a tier list for MSM Composer the other day, and I didn't do Toe Jammer. He wasn't on there. So I'll just say this right now. He's S tier. He's great. So, now we have everyone except Smoochel, because they just sound so stupid in this game. So, I'm just gonna let this play, and then I'll compare the two. So that sounded great, and I love that. Obviously, I'm still working on it because it's not out yet, so it's still a work in progress. But it's very close to being done. That section, at least, not the rest of it. I hope that kind of walked you through how I do things. This recording so far is over half an hour, so I don't know how condensed this will be. I don't know if it's going to be super long or what when it gets out there, but if it was long, thanks for sticking around, and I hope you learned something, because that was my intention for this. If you didn't, then wow, I just wasted half an hour of my life. If you want me to do more of this, I will certainly do it, because I really enjoyed it. I could do this for things I've already released, just to kind of break it down, And also, I changed my channel name to Cashcore now, so that's something. You can see that. Look at that. It's blue now. Everything's blue. And I meant to change my channel and revamp the look of it when I hit 6K. And then I realized whoopsie, not there yet. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything. Thanks for eating beans, and goodbye.